This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Philly Sports Guy show. Today is Wednesday, July 13th, and we had some sports that happened last night. Actually, it was just really mostly the Phillies, but there is some news as of right this moment, NHL free agency begins. They are now allowed to talk to free agents. I know that the Flyers are trying to make some space here. They got rid of a fan favorite, Oscar Lindblom. They are buying out his contract for $3 million this year. And they are trying to create some space to see if they can go and get Johnny Hockey. I know that they're trying to do everything that they can to start bringing back Philly people so that they can get some more people in the stands. I don't know that this is going to do it. I don't know if Johnny Hockey could make the difference on this team or not. I know he's a good player. He's being offered 8 years, $9.5 million from the Calgary Flames. They're the only team that could even offer 8 years. Everybody else is going to have to get close to that. And there is a team right up the turnpike that does have the money and is in the Johnny Hockey sweepstakes. I don't know if the Flyers are going to have enough to get it done. I know that he is a Flyers fan. He grew up as a Flyers fan. He grew up real close to here, close to the city, and just has always been about the Flyers. I don't know that they're going to have enough to be able to bring him home. They signed Tony DeAngelo for $5 million. If they didn't do that, they may have had the money to be able to bring him in. I just don't know that they're going to be able to do the things that they need to do to be able to get him into camp and get him here and be able to sign him for a long-term deal. And to be honest, I mean, he's 29 years old. I don't know that I am interested in having another 7-year deal. I don't think that he warrants $10 million a year for 7 years. But, of course, I am not the GM. And unfortunately, the GM that we do have, I'm not sure that he's really the best GM, best suited for the job. But, we'll see what happens here. Like I said, free agency literally just opened up 3 minutes ago. So we will see what happens in the NHL with the NHL tracker. I will be tracking it during this broadcast. Obviously, we're going off at 9 o'clock. So if you are watching this as one of the rebroadcasts, please sign in to Roku or our YouTube channel at the Northeast Streaming Sports Network. You'll be able to see this right at 9 o'clock and be able to do most of your commenting and things like that at that point. Or you could watch me on the big screen television on the Roku TV. I look much better, bigger. So, anyways, let's get back down to what happened last night. Last night, the Blue Jays squeaked one past the Phillies 4-3. Of course, we don't have all our players out there because they can't go because of the COVID situation. And I understand that. But they did try their best. Obviously, they let up 2 runs in the very beginning. That's why they had to use Bellini yesterday to start off the pitching. He didn't even get the loss. The loss really went to Familia, who gave up 1 run in 4 hits in 1 1/3 innings. But they did come out and play a little bit. Let's say Stott with a home run, Castellanos with an RBI, and Odubel Herrera with RBIs. It's hard when you don't have your full team available, and you got to send some guys home or to the next location because we're in Toronto and Canada is a whole different world with COVID. But it is what it is. Stott actually winds up going 2 for 4, 2 runs scored, an RBI, 1 with a home run as well. Vierling went 1 for 4. Dubel went 1 for 4. Stubbs went 1 for 3. Bellotti, like I said, 1 inning pitched, 2 hits, 2 runs. Both of them were earned. He had that one. He was able to get out of that inning. It was an ugly inning. They got bases loaded and that double off there, or actually it was a ground rule double. So they had to send the guy back. I think that was in the 6th inning where they were able to get out of that, but just not enough bats to keep things going. And they wind up going down 4-3, which means that they are now a game behind because the Cardinals beat the Dodgers yesterday, 7-6. So with all of that, we're now out of the wild card by 1 game. And of course, there's a lot of time left in the season, but they are on a small losing streak here, losing 3 in a row. Going up into Toronto and trying to figure out, like who's going to play and who's been vaccinated, who hasn't been vaccinated. Canada's obviously a whole different world up there. So it's just, to go up there with half the people that you can is not really, most conducive, but, they were able to kind of put something together. Unfortunately, Schwarber and Hoskins, and Hall, all of them, no hits on the day. Castellanos did get a hit and an RBI, and Gregorius with another hit. So they only had 7 hits on the day, 3 runs scored. Only Stott with the home run. So, and today they have Wheeler going. Wheeler is going up against Stripling. Stripling has got a 4.3 record, a 3.34 ERA. In comparison to Zach Wheeler, who should have a little chip on his shoulder right now because he was not chosen for the All-Star game. I don't understand why he was not. I feel this is something that was like, he's 8-4 with a 2.46 ERA. That would sound to me like that's somebody who should be making the All-Star since he has got a top 5 ERA in the National League. But obviously the National League didn't think so. So they have him sitting out. And when asked if he was, interested in going to this game, going to the All-Star game, if somebody was to get hurt or somebody was pitching and he needed to be a fill-in, he's like, I wasn't chosen. It is what it is. So that sounds to me like, you know what? I'm going to show you why I should have been chosen. And, let's go compete for that Cy Young again, because obviously there's some good pitchers. Right now, I think we have a Dodger that's 11-0 right now. You have the guy down in Miami who is, just lights out, probably one of the best pitchers in the league. And, of course, Scherzer came back the last 2 games. Scherzer pitched, has 20 strikeouts between the 2 games. And of course, he only won the 1 game, but he didn't get the loss in the other one. So I kind of expect that there's going to be some competition for that Cy Young this year. Obviously, Zach Wheeler is 5th in the National League, but like I said, there's some really good pitchers out there right now. So there's going to be some competition going for that Cy Young. But hopefully this chip on his shoulder for not making the All-Star team, when I guess he wasn't voted in or what have you, I guess we'll see if if that really shows up or equates to outs on the field or strikes in the batter's box. Because I'd like to see. It's a shame that I think that he wasn't chosen for this. However, I guess that the National League has their reasons. So I'm going to see if there's anything that's popping up right now. I know that with NHL.com. Let's see if there's any. So obviously, Evander Kane, I mentioned earlier, Evander Kane re-signs with the Edmonton Oilers. There's been a few buyouts. I know that the Devils bought out Yanni Kukkonen, and I know that that's trying to make a big play here for Johnny Hockey. But no signings as of yet. I thought that maybe there would be some 9 o'clock signings, but the NHL's collective bargaining agreement said that you were not allowed to talk to free agents at all until free agency began. They are trying to allow the teams that have the player to re-sign the player rather than pushing them to free agency. It's not a bad idea, not a bad move. I just think that it creates other ways of colluding. Obviously, players can talk to players and it not be considered collusion because they could be friends. So you could just say, hey, buddy, up to this guy and tell him we think this and we think this and we think this and we want to do this and we want to do this. And like a whisper down the lane type of situation. So I believe that it's just another way of being able to, create, the ways around things. But ultimately, again, the NHL has its own way of doing things, and we'll see if it really makes a difference. The fact that there is not a big flurry of action right now is not surprising then, because obviously they want to at least save a little bit of face in terms of what's going on. So there we go. Where's it at? Malkin gets re-signed as well. So for 4 more years, we're going to have Malkin as a Penguin. And I'm not a fan of Malkin. I'm not a fan of the Penguins at all. I actually dislike the Penguins just about as much as I hate the Dallas Cowboys. And if you're from Philadelphia, you understand that there is, nothing that's worse than a Dallas Cowboys fan, there's nothing better than just watching Dallas get their butts whipped by our Philadelphia Eagles. So, anyways, there is also today, there's going to be the MLS is back in. They actually got a full slate today where we are going up against Inter Miami. And that is, the Beckham team. The Union have actually been playing pretty well. Had a very big statement game against DC United. I'd like to see if that carries over. They have their whole team in full now. The under 20 CONCACAF, or I think it was the FIFA under 20. The kids are back. We had 4 kids who played for those teams, and they all came back now. So now we have a full squad. And I expect that Jim Curtin is going to use those guys as often as he can, especially since they came back with a win. The one kid wound up with the golden ball and the golden boot. The difference is the golden ball is the most goals scored in the tournament. The golden boot is the MVP of the tournament. So he did win both of them. And I expect that they are going to really start to shine now that they're back and make a full run for the MLS Cup. I feel like right now they are in second place in the Eastern Conference. I kind of feel that they are poised to make this run. I feel like they got stuck last year. Obviously, everybody wound up with COVID at the last second, and they were not going to postpone that game. And even after they didn't postpone the game, they really kept NY CFC, in check for most of the game. Unfortunately, in overtime, we did score a goal. They scored a goal, and then they wound up winning at the end there. So it is, and then, of course, they won the MLS Cup. It's New York. Don't worry. I think we got something for them this year. This is a much better team, and I expect that they are going to go compete for that MLS Cup. They just got to get there. And I feel that their record kind of shows that. They just got 9 ties, 2 losses, and 8 wins. So hopefully tonight we'll get our 9th win, because Inter Miami is 10th in the Eastern Conference, only with 6 wins, 8 losses, and 4 draws. So let's go to a commercial break, and we will be back momentarily after these commercial messages.
About me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Wait, no, you gotta get me at the random. I'm not prepared.
What a wonderful world. What a wonderful.
Wow.
The Hometown Foundation is excited to bring back the Dream Ride Experience, August 26th to the 28th at Connecticut's Farmington Polo Club. Join us in celebrating the accomplishments of our Dream Riders while enjoying live music, a car and motorcycle show, family fun zone, pet adoptions, canine demonstrations, the Fireman's Chili Cook-Off, and much, much more. Get your tickets today.
I mean, you can see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this.
Oh, I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face. Oh, from Brooklyn. Hey, get us any.
And we are back. I dig this music. Pretty soon I'll get some more music rather than just this one right here, but I like this comeback music. Here we are back in the swing of things, and let's get there. I want to go over some of the top NHL free agents that are out there. I think that with free agency opening up right now, it'll be interesting to see if there's anybody who's going to make some quick moves. But some of the notable names that are out there right now. Let's start off. We're going to go in alphabetical order here. Patrice Bergeron from the Boston Bruins, a 36-year-old. Obviously, he's been a Bruin for a long time. He's won the Selke Trophy 5 times. He's got plenty of points out there. At 36 years old, I can't imagine he's moving anywhere. However, he is a free agent. I expect that Boston's going to offer him a tender offer, but they wanted him to go out there and take a look so that he could test the market to see what it is that they would need to give him. It's possible that he could move on, but I don't really expect so. Andre Burakovsky, who is a Colorado Avalanche. He's only 27 years old, had 61 points last season. He had 8 points in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I can't imagine that he's going to go anywhere. However, he's won 2 Stanley Cups, one with the Capitals and now one with the Avalanche. So he's a guy who actually knows how to get his name on the cup. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody's interested in picking him up. At 27 years old, he is a young guy. Andrew Kopp is also 27 years old. He's with the New York Rangers right now. Scored 53 points, 72 games last year. He played for both Winnipeg and the Rangers. He wound up being somebody added on to the Rangers last year at the trade deadline. It'll be interesting. I know that the Rangers would like to keep him, but they're probably going to wind up having to move on because he's just going to command too much other money. Again, at 27 years old, he's young enough where he's going to be able to do this. Here's a really interesting name besides the big ones, Max Domi. Max Domi is not the biggest goal scorer. He's not going to really put the puck in the net a tremendous amount or score a lot of points, but he does a lot of the intangibles that you want. He's almost like a Matthew Barnaby type, and if you remember that name, you hated him. Max Domi's very similar. I'm not a big fan of of him when he's on the other team, but he's somebody you'd want on your team. He is he's just a great teammate, and I kind of expect that he's going to get picked up. He's also 27 years old. So he's at 314 points within his career. So he has been able to put the puck in the net. Last year, he just didn't do as well. So it may hurt his numbers testing the free agent market, but somebody's definitely going to pick him up. I don't know that he's going to remain in Carolina. Of course, there's Johnny Gaudreau. Johnny Hockey already offered 8 years, $9.5 million by the Calgary Flames, and he still decided to test free agency. That kind of tells me, one, I mean, he might get $10 million a year, but I don't think it matters there. I think the fact that he is on the West Coast, I think he wants to come back east. And this is where the Flyers, I believe, could try to get him back into this area. I think realistically, they just don't have the money to be able to do that. But I know that New Jersey Devils are also interested in trying to acquire his talents. So we'll see if that makes a difference there. Claude Giroux. Kind of thought Claude was going to come back. He's 34 years old. I wouldn't mind signing him for another 3-year deal for like $2.5–3 million. And it's possible that's why they bought out Oscar Lindblom. The Flyers waived Oscar Lindblom to see if anybody would pick him up, and then they're going to get a buyout, so they do buy him out. I think that Claude is a guy who's probably worth about $2.5–3 million. I think he's desperate to try to come back to Philadelphia. I hear that Edmonton's trying to make a really big play for him, so it'll be interesting to see if he winds up over there on the West Coast. I know he's real big on trying to keep his family close by, so we'll see if anybody likes to sign him in day one. Kadri from the Avalanche. Kadri is a goal scorer. He's 31 years old. He had 15 points in the playoffs. He definitely helped the Avalanche win the cup. I mean, he's got 512 points in close to 740 regular season games. I think he's going to wind up getting somewhere around $7 million, and I don't know if the Avalanche is going to have enough to be able to keep it or compete and match. So it'll be interesting to see if he moves along. Phil Kessel, I think the game has passed him by. I know he's about as old as could be. So he's with Arizona. He's a free agent. I can't imagine he's going to stay with Arizona. I expect a team that could possibly compete for a cup grabbing him at a league minimum, like $1 million a year or something like that. Andre Palat from the Tampa Bay Lightning. Obviously, he has a few Stanley Cups. And, of course, they got to the finals this year. He's 31 years old, had 49 points in 77 games last year and 21 points in 23 postseason games. So it's going to be interesting moving forward to see where he winds up at. Who knows? You know what I mean? That is somebody that I like, guys who have won the chip. So there's a possibility that he could wind up in Philly because he looks like the type of player who Philly would take, and he might be at that right money. So moving forward, the only Paul Stastny from the Winnipeg Jets was doing okay. Vincent Trocheck from the Carolina Hurricanes, 28 years old, had 51 points last year. He's a 4-time 20-goal scorer. He could possibly move along as well. So as of right now, like I said, there is not anybody. Let's see if there's anything in the free agency blog real fast to see if there's, besides the rumors. You got it, Evander Kane. And no, nothing happened as of yet. So we'll see if anybody gets done here within the next 5 minutes. I don't believe that they move that quickly, but we could soon see. You know, there's something could be said. Beyond that, obviously, like I said, the Phillies and the Union are both playing today. The Eagles, there was some talk coming out. Obviously, we heard the talk that was reported by Derek Gunn that, you know, Hurts in the 10 games or in the 10-play drive that he had 3 interceptions, 3 sacks, and 4 incompletions. That was reported by Derek Gunn, and everybody said, "Hold on, it's 7-on-7. There is no people sacking. You know, how is it that he got intercepted? You know, like it wasn't that way at all." And of course, along the same lines, Vegas also didn't believe that because the odds for him to win the MVP jumped up dramatically. He is at a plus 3,300 now in comparison to, I think he was at plus 7,500, not less than a month ago. So his stock is rising. And I think that, you know, for a player who has improved every year since he got into college, he has gotten better every year. I think that why would that change now? Why would all of a sudden he be like, "Oh, no, I can't play this year. This year I'm going to stink and I'm not going to get any better," especially with all the weapons he's got around him. I'm expecting a big year from Jalen Hurts. I don't know that it's going to be an MVP style year, but like I said, if everything happens to go right this year, I think that the Eagles could possibly win 13 games. I really have them slated more to win 11 games. However, I do have them going to the NFC Championship game. I feel that this team is primed to make a really big postseason run. And as long as they don't get bitten by the injury bug, I fully expect that the Eagles are going to make a splash in this year's playoffs. I think that they win the East. I don't think that there's another team that's going to be able to compete with them in any sense of the word. I know that I think Dallas took a big step back. I think that Washington did not take a big enough step forward. And I think the Giants are still going to need to figure it out a little bit. So although I do not think they're going to sweep the East, I do think that we are going to win more games than every other team in there. Like I said, I think we're going to go 11-6 with the possibility of 12-5 or 13-4. Or if the breaks happen in the wrong way, we could go 10-7. But I think 10-7 is going to be a good enough record to be able to win the East. I just think that everybody else is going to be under that. I know that Pork Rind from the Washington Commanders believes that everybody is going to be above 500 in the NFC East just because of the strength of our schedules, but I don't believe that 100%. I think that both of Washington and the Giants are going to wind up under 500. But that's just my opinion. We have to wait and see what happens once they actually start to get on the field and start playing games for real. And as quickly as we begin is as quickly as we are done. Our half hour is up for today. I will see you guys again next Monday when we come back for another Philly Sports Guy show. And in the meantime, everybody have a great week and weekend. And as always, go Philly. Yeah. Have a great one.